Hello and good greetings. My name is Hat, though it took me a long time to call myself that. And today this is the first time I'm actually going to be sharing one of my art journals. And this one, as you can see, is the very first of my art journals. And this little book of mess, which is what it is, played such an enormous role in really helping me to rediscover who I really am and actually who I'm not. So this book, I think, was created about 17 years ago. I started on this. I just love this photograph of myself, by the way. This was a baby me. And the reason why I love it so much is because I'm wearing a hat and I've got these pink glasses and I think I look super cool. Slowly but surely, just starting to draw random little places. And again, this was the first time I did this. Sometimes I just want to draw. This was years ago. A couple of flowers stuck in. This tiny little picture here of the bath is actually a story of mine that there's so much to share just around this little illustration here. Art journals were for me to find who I am and rediscover who I am and also find who I'm not. So this is one of the things I definitely am. I am messy, as you can see. I like the idea of leaving happy cards and mini gifts in places where strangers will find them. I want to make the world a kinder and happier place. That's actually a rhino drawn by my son. I still love it. Joa's rainbow rhino. And at the time I see there's lots of washi tape. I went through a washi tape season. Ideas, that's 100% me. Ideas. I love coffee and chocolate. That's still true. I am completely in love with my husband and children. That is still true. And then I drew this weird looking dog. And then this was also one of the things, funnily enough, now these days generally I hate blanket statements, and I generally do not like to pigeonhole anyone, including myself. But at the time when I was so unsure of who I was and what I wanted out of life, this Briggs-Myers personality test was actually very helpful to me. And when I did that, I'm an INFP, which is introverted, intuitive, feeler, perceiver, or an idealist. And I actually still, to this day, pretty much relate a lot and still resonate with this INFP kind of thing. But what's this? A cupcake? The emancipation from the expectation. Expectation is the root of all heartache. That was a quote I've always resonated with. Apparently William Shakespeare said that. These again were some of the first times I was starting to draw again after years and years and years and years and years of not drawing. Creatures and people and yes, this is all my fighting with myself about school, because I really went to a terrible school, especially my high school, which was just so, you have to, answer the questions but not question the answers and obey the rules, fit in, keep quiet, do what you're told. And I had to work through that a lot whilst finding, rediscovering who I really am, because that school really messed me up in many ways, and that's a whole long story for another day. Jane Doe. Oh, and the Average Extraordinaries. I still remember this. There's a great quote. I can't remember who it is, but it talks about if you give a man a mask, he'll tell you the truth. And at the time, I felt that the only way to truly speak my truth and be truly Heather, be truly Hat, was to hide behind a mask of some kind. And so I was playing with the idea of being anonymous, of being a Jane Doe, instead of just saying, this is who I actually am and this is how I feel. I was thinking, well, maybe the only way I can tell the truth of who I really am and the wild, creative, messy nut of a person that I am is to hide. So I was just playing around with the idea of hiding here. What's this? Date of birth, occupation. What did I write here? Suburban mom of two and creative creature, charged with wasting her life for 30 years and trying to hide. sentence community service. Actually, yeah, this is still a struggle of mine of wanting to hide. More little scratches and illustrations and bits of paper and bits of mess. What would life be if we had no courage to attempt anything? Again, supposedly attributed to Vincent van Gogh, but just collage, mess, bits of stamps, much more muchier. That came from Alice in Wonderland. The story of the Mad Hatter was actually the one that said to Alice, "You used to be much more muchier, you've lost your muchness." I write a lot of rhymes and songs and poems. Love is not a pink heart, candy-coated gumdrop, fluffy little powder puff, warm and fuzzy puffy stuff. Love is not a Care Bear, pretty little rainbow, happy little fairy tale, Cupid with an arrow. And I think I was just pushing back against, I think I actually wrote this during Valentine's Day, when shopping malls and all the rest were just filled with all these cupids in pink and red and these weird ideas of what love is, and I just wrote that little rhyme as a response to that. Stupid rules don't apply. That is still very much in line. And so that's been like a little secret mantra. And again, I'm only sharing this book with the world now. These are things that I've just written to myself over the years. Stupid rules don't apply. This is something I love doing. There's a photograph of me in some coffee shop, because I definitely cannot make a cappuccino with a nice pretty fern leaf on the top. Cannot, again, oh my God, I cannot stand being told what to do. Yes, that is still true of me. And then this, just a whole bunch of scribbles here. People want something to believe in. People look to other people for their beliefs. Something, I don't know, notes from something I was listening to here. Things to do. What was this? Buy donut for cover of zine, because I was making zines at one stage. Buy another donut. I ate the first one. Okay, this is a funny story here. Joe wanted to draw a picture of me, so he asked me to please draw a body so that he could copy it. And then I drew this, which is the blue outline. Joe decided it wasn't an accurate representation of me, so added the amendments in pencil, which I find hilarious. Now, obviously, Joe was my son, very young at the time when he added these little pencil boobs. And years later, I think recently, maybe 2 months ago, I actually showed this. I showed this illustration to our son, and he was horrified. He was like, "Oh my God, what the hell?" And I said, "Yes, that was you. You did that." So that still makes me giggle, especially knowing my son and the kind of guy he is now. These were just experimentations with pens that bleed. Pens that bleed are basically a pen like this that you draw with, and then I would just add water to test, does this pen bleed or does it not? And also, depending on the artwork that you do, you'd see whether a pen bleeds or not. So this one, that's what I would do, is I'd experiment and then I'd add a bit. At the moment, I don't have any water, so I'm just going to actually just dip my finger in the cup of coffee that is next to me and see if it bleeds. Yes, this pen bleeds. Then you can just kind of, see what I'm doing. This is what an art journal is. There's no rules. I never allowed myself to have any rules with the art journal, because it's supposed to be a completely authentic place to express yourself creatively, to write all the truth that comes out of your head without worrying about other people might read this, other people might see this, other people might judge me. And you just kind of find yourself and you figure out through this creative expression who you are, who you're not, what you want out of life, what you don't want out of life. And it's just a wonderful tool to just kind of work through these things in your own company. But as you can see, it's messy. There's no rules. So even after all of this talking, I have barely even begun to show you all of my art journal. And there's still so much to share. But this is the end of part 1. And I have many, many more art journals, many more stories, many more things to say. And if you're interested in any of this, part 2 will be coming soon, and we'll take it from there. And thanks so much for joining me.